So we will be creating a public subnet with the Internet Gateway, and we will create the route table that will have the routing entry for the instances through the Internet Gateway. And that is how we will be getting the public internet access, and that's what we will be trying to achieve, and hopefully we should be able to do that, and that should not be that difficult for us. And the yellow line that you see, or the yellow dotted line that you see here, is what we will have as our path to reach the public internet. I hope it was clear. Let's move on to the demo then. So let's start off with the demo, and here we will be creating a VPC. So if you haven't watched the previous episodes on how we actually created the VPCs, don't worry about that. We will create a sample VPC here as well. So you can follow the same things as we are doing here, and you can also do this demo. So first thing that you need to do is you need to go to the all services and click on VPC, or you can just right click on this and open a new tab, or you can click the one if you have recently visited. You can just go to your VPCs and you will see an entry for your default VPC. So this is the default VPC that you have. It has a default VPC ID and it also has the IPv4 CIDR. So that is basically yours. So 172.31.0.0/16. So it's a good one, but we have to create our own VPC. So how we can create it? You can just click on create VPC here, and you have to assign a name for that. My VPC 01, that's what I will give. Quite generic name, but okay. So 10.0.0/16. So we'll create a CIDR block for 10.0.0.0/16. So don't worry about that. We have the tags in place. We don't want to assign any IPv6 CIDR blocks, or there are no CIDR blocks that are owned by me as well, and the tenancy will be default. And yes, that's it. You just click on create VPC and you create the VPC. Okay. So the next thing is, once you have created the VPC, you need to create the subnets, isn't it? So click on subnets here, and you will see 3 subnets that are all part of your default VPC, but we have to create our own, isn't it? You can just click on create subnet -public. Okay, I'll just create one. So public subnet, and the VPC that will assign is to my VPC. So this is my VPC that I have created now. This is the new VPC that we have created. So click on this one, and the availability zone, you can choose any one of them. I will choose the first one, but if you want to have high availability, you can create 3 subnets and assign it to one of each of them, so that we get high availability. And we can now assign a CIDR block for this. So it can be 10.0.0 or 1.0/24. Okay, just create it. So if you want to understand more about how we actually are creating this, you can watch the first episode of the demo for VPC. I have discussed this in detail, so don't worry about that. So this is the public subnet that we have. This is not yet your public subnet. I have just named it. So don't try to insinuate things here. So you can create one more. So that will be your private, and this will also be your private VPC that you have, and AP South 1B. So I can associate it with another CIDR block. So it can be 10.0.32.0/26. Okay, so it does not overlap. So 26 and 24 don't overlap, so it's fine. So we can create both of them. So but 26 already has like 59 IPs, and 24 gives us more IPs, but that's nothing to be worried about. So now you have the subnets and you have the VPC. So the next thing is, you want to basically create your instances, isn't it? So go to EC2, and we will be creating our own instance here. So by launch instances, so you can click on launch instances and you can start off the creation process. So here I will be choosing Amazon Linux to AMI. So select this, and we will select the t2.micro. Here you have to make some specific changes for your VPC, and you have to let AWS know that you are going to create a EC2 instance for your VPC itself. So here that you see here, the network selection will be for my VPC 01. That is the new VPC that we have created. And here, as you can see, I have 2 subnets associated to this one. So this is the public subnet 1 and this is the private subnet 1. So for now, I want to associate it with the public subnet 1. And if you see here, use subnet settings. So by default, the auto assign public IP will be disabled because it is the default subnet setting. And if you want, you can change this in your subnet itself. So here, if I go back here in the public subnet, actually I can change this. So I can do this, like modify auto assign IP settings. So here, if I just click on this one or check this one, enable auto assign public IPv4 addresses, it will be enabled for me. But I can also do this manually while I'm going to select this as enable. So if you enable this one, you will have a public IP auto assigned to your instance. And that's it. I don't think so we need to do any other changes here. So you have the VPC, that is my VPC 01. You have the subnet, that is public one, and